So as a probate and trust professional, I'm a real estate agent by trade. I often need to find other team members to work with to help us serve our customers, whether it be attorneys or families. And one of the professionals I've met along the way in my path is Vonmarie Thomas. And Vonmarie is a specialist in accounting, has experience in trust accounting. Vonmarie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
And so you're based in New York?
Yes, I'm based in New York City. My company's actually headquartered in Oregon. So I'm always working either West Coast time, East Coast time, and all the time zones in between.
Got it. Okay. So you're in New York, but you basically do business nationally. And I know you do accounting as your background. You do trust accounting, and that's kind of where I got interested in talking to you. But you also fill in as a CFO or financial advisor for people who need somebody on a virtual basis.
Yes. So not only do I provide financial reporting, I'm kind of the person in between your tax accountant, your tax professional, and yourself. So if you are burdened with the responsibility of coming up with the receipts for all of your transactions and your multiple businesses, your multiple properties, I'm that person that would organize everything, provide a streamlined report for your CPA and your tax accountant, and have them just very seamlessly file any tax paperwork that needs to get done, any tax filings.
Okay, so you handle the accounting side of it, and then prepare everything for the tax preparer who's actually going to file for the estate if there's such a requirement.
Exactly. So someone else would file the actual tax, state and federal, because I don't file those things. But everything before that, all the prep work, all of the documentation, all of the organization of a chart of accounts, all of the attaching of documents, of reading any leases, contracts, paying any bills. I do pay bills. If there's any invoices that do need to go out on behalf of the trust or a rental situation, I would be able to do that as well. So I really, help people get very organized when it comes to owning multiple either businesses or properties, and just having peace of mind around their money.
LLCs in multiple states for investments.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Do you also have a network of tax preparers that you can work with and submit paperwork to?
Absolutely. I have a vast network of accountants that I'm constantly working with, constantly referring business to, probably on a daily basis, I would say, depending on the needs. I work with nonprofits and small businesses, even larger size businesses as well, and startups, things like that. And I just think it's super fun for me. I really love doing the work. It's easy. I just feel like the Marie Kondo of the the organizer.
So
So
the
that
Marie Kondo is the life-changing magic of tidying up. And it really is a life-changing book, a very short read, very fundamental, one of the best books I've ever read. And so she's referring to, she's the Marie Kondo of the accounting side of that, to help people get themselves organized. I will share with you, about 5 years ago, I've been in real estate for 30 something years. I always kind of done it myself, which is always a mess, always a scramble at the end of the year. And my son-in-law, who was a CPA, but he was at a big international firm, kept pushing me to get a bookkeeper and create a corporation and really do things properly. And not only to save a fortune, but really I do an annual end of the year meeting with my accountant, and we make some decisions on retirement funds and taxes. And it's simple. And because the bookkeeper uploads everything, it's lickety split. It is life-changing magic. And so definitely, if you have a trust, and I deal with customers who get thrust into it, maybe the prior trustee steps aside or somebody passes and creates a transition, it can be brutal. And to do it yourself is not the right answer. Get a professional, and Vonmarie is one who can help you with the accounting and the finances. What's your most common customer look like if you describe them from a size of the state, size of business, and how sophisticated are they?
were you asking me a question? I think it cut off a
Yeah.
little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Describe for us what your most common customer is in terms of size of assets and where they are in their business development.
Okay, so my size of asset usually is in up to like 20 million in assets. They might be the trustee themselves and also be the beneficiary. They might have charities listed as beneficiaries and need to provide documentation on the value of the assets inside of the trust to that beneficiary as well. So there's like some kind of split. And they might own multiple businesses, LLCs, and multiple rental properties, residential. They own residential, commercial. Their cars are part of the trust as well. They probably have a team, maybe working with an estate lawyer, but a lot of the burden when it comes to providing the support falls on them as individuals, and they might have an assistant. So that's my go-to client. And yeah, and they also might not have an interest in being the admin, the full-time admin of all of this work that needs to be done. It's like they have their full-time job, they have their family, they might be dealing with other issues or grief as well because they've inherited this estate. So there's many things that fall into the typical client that I would deal with.
You know, having been thrust into the job once as a trustee, it's a lot of work, a lot of tedious work, and to be able to pay somebody to do it frees me up to do what I'm good at and gets me out of doing what I'm not good at. And so I think it's really important. While there's probably nothing that one could not do on their own that a professional does, why would you want to do it? You're going to probably make some mistakes. You're probably going to take more time at it and be more frustrated. Vonmarie, what's a common mistake you see people make either when you take over an estate or when people try to do it on their own?
So the common mistake is just the commingling of the trust assets and the funds, right? I've seen things like there is commercial property, the rent is being collected into one bank account, so then that's good. But then I might see money just being spent very frivolously out of the trust. And something that is very important is that we know what money belongs to the trust and what money needs to be counted as a distribution. And at that point, it would hit the beneficiary's like personal tax return, right? Because they're taking money out for things that are not trust administration related. So it's been very interesting and really asking questions like, is this transaction for the trust? Why did you pay this lawyer? Can I see the invoices? Can I also, it's just a lot of digging. And I do have an audit background, so I'm very good at picking up on weird transactions. So I might be someone's worst nightmare, but at the same time, I might be your best friend. So
Well,
if the IRS
sometimes it feels like you're being difficult, but the reality is you're trying to protect the customer from themselves in many cases, right? And I know I've seen customers commingle where they have inherited property and commingle it with maybe marriage assets, and all of a sudden now their spouse, who becomes their ex-spouse, has a claim. Hey, we use these assets together, they're commingled, and you can't go back and undo that. You can make the case in court that should have happened, but it's very difficult to do when you have months or years of bank statements of commingling. You really are making the case that they're interrelated at that point, right?
Exactly. So it's very important that you have the proper documentation, that things are just really, really clear and crisp, like at least an email saying that this was the only instance. It's outside of normal situations.
Right.
So something to document just that, it would make a huge difference, right?
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, great. Look, well, Vonmarie, it's been a pleasure meeting you and learning and growing with you. And I know you are active on Instagram. Is that the best way for people to reach you?
Yes, it is. I'm very active on Instagram and I do have, okay, it's at Vonmarie _breakaway _BA. So Ball Apple. And I am super active on there. I am always trying to educate, trying to share the information that I come across as soon as I come across it. Always happy to answer any questions. And yeah, and I also have a very cool team of advisors. Some people focus in the equine industry. Some people do deal with, what is it? Either farms, or people focus on a whole bunch of different things at Breakaway, and I really love that. So if there's any hesitation that, you know, I might not be able to answer your question, I definitely have other people that I could definitely refer you to as well. So definitely reach out. I would love to chat. So,
Fantastic.
you know, thank you so much.
And if you find out more about her, also her sparkles, you click on that and it has a whole list of different activities and things and different ways to meet her. You can buy her a cup of coffee if that's what you want to do. So, Vonmarie, always a pleasure chatting with you and catching up. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you, Val. I appreciate you having me.
We'll talk soon.